And we're back. What episode is this? 42.
It is 42. So, Kristen just clapped.
I did.
For a reason.
You'll see it.
It's going to happen every week from now on.
Maybe.
Every
Maybe.
episode.
We'll see how it works.
It's an audio cue. Audio mic visual cue so that it's easier for her to sync up the video, because last time we found that was somewhat complicated in a way that we didn't think was going to be complicated.
Maybe I'll get better at just editing the audio over time, or editing both of them together over time.
Sure.
So, but for now, just hear a little
fine. Yeah.
Speed marker.
Check.
This is episode 42.
42.
It's already hot in here and I hate it. I feel oppressed.
Should I open that door?
I
think
have
it'll
pants
help.
on, by the way.
It might help.
Okay.
Yeah, go get that.
Guys, I
just
can't reach.
want
Take off your headphones.
those of you watching to know that I do have pants on. They're just short.
Does it feel better already? Do you feel some cool air coming? We could turn on the AC in our room, but anyway.
It is on.
Well, the door's closed. Anyway. Hi. The NHL decided to do all of its news today, so I felt like
Sweet.
This afternoon I wasn't sure if we were going to record a podcast because I didn't know what we were going to talk about, and then everything happened.
Yeah.
Chronological order, the big news out of today, Milan Lucic got traded to the Edmonton Oilers. No, he didn't. He was already an Oiler. He got traded to the Calgary
Happy
Flames.
Friday.
Get with
Dude.
the program.
The AC's broken in my office, so I just have heat stroke all day.
That sucks.
It's a nightmare.
My office is freezing and it's awesome.
Yeah, I wish mine was. He got traded to the Calgary Flames for James Neal, and I believe the Flames also got a third-round pick. No,
Conditional.
The Oilers got that pick. Or did the Flames get it? The Flames got it.
Ian, this
So
is
look it up.
why we
Look it
have
up.
Twitter.
And then I think the Oilers retained 12.5% of Lucic's contract, and that might just be to balance out the cap hit, but I don't think it is. Because the difference was only $250,000.
Yeah, James Neal is making $5,750,000, and Lucic makes 6 LeBlancs.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Is anyone able to find?
Yep, 12.5 was
Okay.
retained from Lucic, and there's also Calgary also acquires a conditional third in 2020.
Right. So I mean, it
Seems
seems like both these teams were trading problem wingers. Both of them are 31 years old. Both of them have 4 years left on their deal. Very similar cap hits. I don't know how that.
I'm gonna fucking kill you now. Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah.
That was just one.
I don't know how that Lucic one, how the retention works in the salary. I would assume it's marginal.
Yeah. If
but-
this trade was like 2 or 3 years ago, it'd be pretty big.
Yeah.
Now it's like, man.
Lucic has been bad for 4 years now. And,
Yeah.
I feel like James Neal had one bad season. It just happened to be the first one of his contract. And,
Which doesn't help.
Right, and I think it just gave the Flames a bad taste in their mouth. He wasn't being used well in Calgary. Like, they just didn't seem to want to play him in a top 6 role. He had a hard time staying in the lineup. And it seems like, at least from Flames fans, or from Flames media, that they believe that the reason they lost to Colorado in the first round was because they weren't tough enough. And we've seen this before. We've seen teams try to draft and get bigger based on getting bounced around by opponents. And it hasn't worked for them.
Hasn't.
Like the Toronto Maple Leafs, when Brian Burke was there, the word was truculence. It was a word he used at the draft when he drafted
So dumb.
when he drafted Tyler Biggs.
As in,
Who?
Exactly.
Yes.
As in, I want a player the size of a truculence.
Yeah. It just means he wants a truck driver for his succulents.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a
Truculence.
succulent truck.
That's just a truck made out of succulents?
Yeah.
Cool.
A truck-shaped succulent.
Look, I don't know.
Is it an 18-wheeler or a pickup?
This is
What are we
summer.
talking
This
about?
is summer hockey content.
Silly season!
It's been
Prime.
far less silly than it should have been.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's a win. Okay, this trade, who wins? Who do you think wins off the hop?
Whoever got James Neal.
So Edmonton. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with that.
Whoever gets to watch and point and laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of us.
Yeah.
The real winner were the friends we made along the way.
The 29
True.
teams not involved in this trade.
Yeah, I think Edmonton wins really big on this because everyone was concerned.
For the first time.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Like, you lost a trade to the Edmonton Oilers. Like,
What?
You new here? We don't do that. We don't do that here, Ken. It's I know Ken Holland is the GM of the Oilers. It's Brad Chaliving. But Edmonton gets rid of Lucic. They add a winger who could easily play with McDavid or Draisaitl in James Neal. He shoots the puck well. And they didn't have to get rid of Jesse Puljujarvi to do it. Yeah. There was some thought that if the Oilers were going to move on from Lucic, it was going to cost them Puljujarvi as a sort of sweetener to the deal. And they didn't. And that means, and I still think that they're leaning towards trading Puljujarvi, but now right, they don't have to just burn that asset in order to get rid of a bad contract. Like, remember when the Senators, the rumor around trying to trade Erik Karlsson was that you also had to take on the Bobby Ryan contract? Mm-hmm. And it was like, you're diminishing one of your better trade assets.
Mm-hmm. Same with what the Oilers would have done.
Right. Although it's not the same because Puljujarvi's not Karlsson, but he still has some value to him.
You're still, you're diminishing. I can't say that word, diminishing. Jesus.
I just think it's funny that, like, the Oilers and the Flames, they traded these two. They traded goalies, not really traded, but they swapped spots earlier this month. Mike Smith going from Calgary to Edmonton and Cam Talbot going the opposite direction from Edmonton to Calgary. I can't. The Pacific sucks. The Pacific Division is going to be bad. You have the Knights. They're
going down.
Well, but they're still
they're good, but.
And then you have the Sharks, who are very clearly still going for it, as they should. Mm-hmm. And then who? Vancouver.
Go Ducks.
Vancouver was kind of smart to, quote, go for it. Who else is going to win games in that division? It's not going to. I mean, maybe Calgary gets back there next year. Not with the goaltending. I don't think they've addressed a lot of their needs. I don't think their needs are we need to get tougher. Someone has to win games in that division. I don't know if it's... is it Vancouver? Probably not.
The LA Kings, Ian.
Arizona,
I think, is getting better.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they added Phil Kessel. That's going to be awesome for them.
Yes, exactly. That's how I was just trying to think.
Trying to be comfortable here.
Arizona could easily squeeze in the playoffs.
They could be a wild card team for sure. Yeah. That's all I really had on that trade.
Yeah.
Just like it's interesting to see what the Oilers are doing because we kind of had the talk that like they need to impress McDavid and make him stay, and they really haven't done much.
For those on the video podcast, you can see me struggle with a coaster. So if you're listening on audio, don't miss that one. I'm covered in water now. It's bullshit. Fuck, I quit. Quit the podcast. Covered in water on my own fucking couch. Everyone can see it.
In front of all my friends.
In front of all my jerseys.
Oh, God.
Speaking
okay.
of jerseys.
Yeah, I got a new one today.
I got a new one.
Kristen gave me my birthday present early. Like a month early.
Because
Whatever.
I saw this jersey on eBay.
It's in the closet. It's going to be awkward to go get
I'm
it.
not going to get up.
No.
Pictures to come.
Check email. Yeah, you'll add it to your eBay.
Send me your email, and I'll email you pictures.
God.
Anyway.
Don't get up. Don't worry about it.
Last week.
They'll see it eventually.
Last week, I saw a listing for a Kovalev jersey on eBay that was a white.
Yeah, it's a throwback they wore.
Is it a third?
Third throwback. It's the 1945-46, the one with the blue stripe in the middle. It's pretty neat. I'm a big fan.
So it was going in like 5 days, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna get it.
You gotta make sure you're talking into your mic. By the way, you're looking at me. You know.
Look at that mic.
Well,
mic etiquette's hard.
It is tough. I often worry that people won't be able to hear you.
Is this better? Should I cradle it like a baby in my hands?
It's much louder now.
Okay.
I don't want to make you self-conscious of it, but
it only took 42 episodes. We're still learning.
Maybe I'll
just.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
This is fine.
Yeah, they'll see pictures. I'll post pictures of the jersey on my Twitters.
You have to add it to your feed.
In my thread.
Yeah, exactly, the thread.
My pinned thread is all of my genuine hockey jerseys. I have a lot of fakes.
I'm surprised that you didn't, because like last week, I was like, I have to bite on this, but I also have to know that he doesn't have a Kovalev jersey. And I thought you did, and you have like a fake one.
I have a fake one that I bought in college.
But last week, we were driving around at some point, and I said, hey, Ian, can you name all the players
is that
who
what
have
that
jerseys?
was? You suck.
And I thought you were going to get me, like, right away. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, and then you answered, and I was like, sick.
Yeah.
Thick league.
Thick.
What else happened? Rangers.
The Rangers do a lot of things, and it's
The Rangers
fun.
signed restricted free agent. Have we determined, is it Jacob or Jakob?
Yes.
Or maybe Jakob.
How's it spelled?
Jacob, but I think some people have said it's Jacob. Some people have said Jakob. I'm going to say Jakob Trouba. They signed restricted free agent Jakob Trouba to a 7-year deal worth $8 million per season, avoiding arbitration.
Yes. And locking him up for his prime. He's only 25 years old.
And taking the Rangers directly to the brink of the salary cap.
Yeah.
They went over.
We do have to sign Buchnevich and
Brendan Lemieux.
and I think also Tony DeAngelo. But
They might accept their qualifying offers.
yeah, there's definitely rumors that either Kreider or Nemestikov, or probably both, might not be with the Rangers at the start of the season. Like someone like Smith or Stahl might get either bought out or sent away.
So what I learned from the Canadians earlier today was that if you sign all of your arbitration eligible RFAs, the moment you sign them, 3 days later, a 48-hour period opens up where you can buy out another player.
Yeah.
Who was on your roster
right.
reserve list last season.
I saw you tweeting about this earlier.
So, I mean, the buyout period's over for now, but if you sign Buchnevich, because he's the only one that's arbitration
yep.
eligible, I believe, the Rangers can open up another buyout period. However, I don't know how much that helps them.
Yeah, it would be interesting. It would probably be Smith, I'd say. I think he makes somewhere around the $4 million mark.
Yikes.
And he's a bottom. It's a short contract, though, also, which helps during a buyout because then it doesn't last as long.
The term isn't as long. But, I mean, if they want... The problem is, and we can get more to Trouba in a little bit.
Sure.
But with buyouts and stuff like that is you have to... Are you going to use that cap space?
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you're not
it.
going to use it, you don't give yourself you don't anchor yourself to a buyout for 4 years instead of just paying the guy for 2.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think Smith has value. Like, I don't think he's like a rock. Like, I think you could trade him at least for, I mean, we got a 7th for, like, Cody McLeod. Like, we can get something for Smith.
You could probably get a 4th or a 5th for the guy.
Yeah. So
the problem is like, Cody McLeod is on a dumb contract. Like, it was
That's true,
less than $1 million. Like, cap space is an asset.
That's true.
Know?
So are picks. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what moves, because they have to do something. So more stuff will
I think
coming.
I'm leaning towards them moving to Nemestikov. I don't think they're thrilled with the way that he played. I looked at his numbers; they weren't impressive.
No,
He was
very,
very inflated by his time in Tampa, but whose wasn't? You know, there are going to be guys that leave Tampa who were like studs, and they show up somewhere else, and it's like, Jesus, who is this guy?
And they turn out like Lucic.
Yeah,
going somewhere else.
R.I.P.
But
Trouba.
Yeah. So when you first look at the contract, it is like you do get a little bit of sticker shock. Like $8 million for 7 years is a little scary. But I think after you kind of look at it, like he's gonna be the best Rangers defenseman for most of his contract, right? Like unless we go out there and acquire someone really good, or
yeah. I mean, I don't know what you guys have in the pipeline as far as defensemen go.
Like,
did you pick in the first round this year? Oh yeah, that's right, Kappa. Not a big deal.
No, not big.
Not a big deal. And then you traded that other first for Jacob Trouba.
Yeah, exactly. Like we have Keandre Miller and stuff, but I think if
that's right, he's going to be good.
Yes, but like better than Trouba, I don't know. Like they
Yeah.
would probably be in the league right away if he was going to be like really really good. So it'll be interesting to see But so $8 million for your best defenseman isn't bad.
No, it's not bad. PK's making $9 million, and it's a burden to whatever team he's on. It seems like.
Yep.
They can't wait to rid themselves of that $9 million. And I think obviously this always happens, but as the cap goes up, that dollar amount won't look so bad.
Right.
Exactly. That's what a lot of people are talking about, the TV deal that apparently is coming up. I don't know enough about it, but people keep talking about it like it's going to have a big impact on the
TV
cap.
deal in the States is coming up.
Yeah.
And there's thoughts that ESPN might buy back in. Which
and I guess the cap's going to like jump up because of that?
Yeah. Well, that's what happened when the Rogers deal in Canada. Did we just lose the video?
I don't know.
Want to take a look quick?
Something just popped up on the screen there, so
Just take a look.
Maybe it was memory card full, so we'll see.
Did you clear it? They're going to get a really good look at Kristen in this video.
Memory card is full, yeah.
Sick.
All right, so what are we doing?
Let me...
Do you want to talk about Trouba?
Brief intermission, maybe. I don't know. You guys keep talking.
Okay.
I'm gonna...
We'll keep going. In the
I'm
video...
gonna clear space in this.
Yeah, in the video we can just
Put a picture up
put
or
a
something.
gap
over it. Yeah.
and then edit through it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the TV deal is going to increase the cap.
I mean, that was the idea with the
Rogers.
with the Rogers deal in Canada, but I mean that has turned out to be a disaster, and they're losing money on it every year. Not the NHL. The NHL's got its money from the deal, but Rogers is losing money. So maybe that keeps teams like, or maybe it keeps ESPN a little weary of buying the rights back. I mean, we'll have to see. Are you convinced that Trouba's a number one?
I mean,
He hasn't been one yet, and I mean that's not his fault.
yeah.
He's playing behind Bufflin.
I trust the Rangers front office in paying him $8 million. I mean, I don't even know, is he right or left? I haven't seen him play. I have no idea.
He's a right, and there's
Right?
a premium on that in the NHL.
Okay, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, if he does get, the Rangers often have a history of using like their top three, kind of like, I guess, similar to Toronto, where they use like their top 3 forward lines like the same amount, and then you have a fourth line.
Okay.
And so the Rangers kind of do the same thing, where there's not really line 1, line 2, line 3. It's really just a mix of all different players.
Yeah, I do think
it's the same thing on defense.
I do think it's important to have a guy that is your rock on defense.
Yeah, especially for power play and penalty kill, right?
And he's a huge penalty kill guy.
Sweet.
I think he was like one of 5 players last year, 5 defensemen last year to rack up like 200 penalty minutes. 200
like
200 minutes in time on ice on the penalty kill.
Damn, that's sick.
Yeah. So he's big on that. I mean, I don't know how much you want, because if you want him to be your top power play guy too,
Then it's hard. He's
Right.
eating so much ice.
you know, it'll be interesting to see Adam Fox step in. How does he look on that roster? Maybe does Shattenkirk look better next year? I don't think he can look much worse than he already
Shattenkirk
did.
is supposed to be like the power play guy.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think he really was last season. I mean, there's still, like I said, so many question marks. There's so many players that I just haven't seen play, that I just don't know enough about. And this team is going to be so different. So I really can't wait just to watch the games. But yeah, Trouba's cap hits like 10%. Someone like posted something cool. It's like similar people when they sign their contracts. So like Dougie Hamilton was at 8%.
Of the cap?
Yeah. And like,
So his is about 10% of the cap.
yeah. And so like Pietrangelo was 10%. Some of these guys are just coming off their entry level, so it's a little different because you're not buying the RFA and UFA years. So like Hampus Lindholm was 7.3. So it's just cool to see like the comparables and what he fits in.
Yeah. I mean, that percentage of the cap is really the most important thing.
I agree.
Like it's always what we're talking about, because it's, you know, oh, Kristen's playing the video. She's still working at fixing this. So audio, if you're watching on video, it's probably Kristen, do you have an ETA on this?
Live looking at
give
Kristen
me,
Hines
like-
working on camera duty. Producer Kristen actually has to produce.
I know.
Yeah, I do.
Usually there's not a lot of production value going on.
No. Our pivot to video increased the production value, but also makes us look like a bunch of schlubs every once in a while, you know?
That'll happen. Do you want to talk about how
Yeah, just
put-
keep going.
Panarin's gonna get killed by a KGB agent.
Yeah, let's pull up his quotes, because I thought this was, like, really interesting that he thought it was important to go this hard.
I've never heard anyone speak out against Russia in like that way, especially from a Russian citizen, or not citizen, but Russian
Kristen's
person.
still playing the audio. This is fucking Mickey Mouse operation in here, you know?
So the basic...
I'm kidding. It's on all of us, Kristen. We're all here.
We're all here. Do you have the...
I have the Deadspin article being
Okay.
pulled up by Lauren Tyson, who's lovely.
Because usually you've seen Russians just as... I mean... who was it last year? Ovechkin. I think other people kind of
Ovechkin,
spoke
Malkin.
out. They spoke out like in support of Putin, like on Instagram
like
posts or something
Team
like that.
Putin or something.
Yeah,
There's
it
like
was
a
kind
hashtag.
of cringy. Was he like up for re-election or something? I don't know what that was about.
Election's a funny word.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's a good
Quote,
thought in
unquote,
Russia.
Election.
Here's the ex-Columbus Blue Jacket speaking in detail about his opposition to Putin's long-running administration and explained why he should no longer be in office. And here's the quote. I think he no longer understands what's right and what's wrong. Psychologically, it's not easy for him to judge the situation. So really, Kristen, are we back on video?
Yeah, give me...
You want to clap quick?
In this episode,
Uh-huh.
you guys get a special 2-for-1 deal.
What?
2 claps for the price of 1.
Oh, okay, clap. Okay. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Let's hope that doesn't
Scene
happen
2.
again.
I'll start
Season 1,
I'll
season
start the Panera quote over again.
You know, yeah, okay.
I think he no longer understands what's right and what's wrong. Psychologically, it's not easy for him to judge the situation soberly. He has a lot of people who influence his decisions. But if everyone is walking around you for 20 years telling you what a great guy you are and how great a job you're doing, you'll never see your mistakes.
That's crazy.
Here's another quote from him. We have 2 cities that are developing, St. Petersburg and Moscow, but the rest of them are a joke. I lived in Columbus, which isn't even in the top 10 American cities, but look at the pictures and you'll see how nice it looks. American cities are developing thanks to local taxes, which stay in the state, but here a lot of money goes to Moscow, so people everywhere work for Moscow's benefit. Let's see. Is this still Panarin? Yeah, this is still Panarin here. There is still this belief in our society that you can't say bad things about the government or you'll be killed or poisoned. That's the same thing. This should not be happening.
You don't necessarily die when you're poisoned.
Yeah, the goal is to kill you, though.
Right, but it doesn't mean that you die when you're poisoned.
I think just like in giving a gift, it's the thought that counts. In America, a star or an athlete can directly badmouth the president and nothing will happen. They can refuse to go to the White House, but here it's impossible.
It's crazy.
This is a good one here.
Good for him, though.
I'm more of a patriot than those people that hush up the problems. They are
Yes.
playing with people's emotions by saying you have to love your country no matter what and hate others. I think it's wrong. If I see issues, I don't talk about them. I think it's a greater treason when I talk about them.
Yeah.
I think he's on to something that a lot of people get mixed up about patriotism.
How much of a dump does Russia have to be for him to say nice things about Columbus?
Right? At least we don't have to worry about him going back to the KHL to go play, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll never go back there again. He's going to live in New York for the rest of his life, not a big deal.
But
Could be worse places to hide from the KGB.
I think a lot of people conflate patriotism with like a blind love of your country and like having to support it, even when it's worthy of criticism. But some of the most like fervent patriots are critical of their country because they want it to be better because they love it so much. You know?
I agree.
Good for him for putting his fucking neck out there.
Yeah.
Like literally putting his neck out there because
I don't think he's in any real danger.
if he doesn't return to Russia,
Yeah, even if he goes back, I don't think he's gonna.
I think.
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't know. Russia's crazy. Things happen.
Speaking of the KHL, that reminded me of something.
Okay.
You want to talk about Andrei Markov?
No.
Oh, who?
That's way
I don't-
more fun than what I was
I don't
want to
talk about Andrei Markov.
Oh, okay. So.
But I will plug my article on Andrei Markov that went up today on RabidHabs.com. There's rumors that Andrei Markov might want to come back to the NHL.
Oh, it's not
and-
official?
No. And that
It's not
he's considering, he's hoping the Canadians make him an offer. I don't know if that's the best idea. And if you would like to read why, go read it. RabidHabs.com.
So,
Kristen, KHL.
in less fun news,
Uh-huh.
but kind of fun for people who are following this and hoping that this person wouldn't be in the NHL anymore. Slava Voinov has signed with KHL team Avangard as the last months of his NHL ban tick away. So this is good because that means that it's likely that he has not received any bites from an NHL team.
Yes and no, because
we'll never know. That's the shitty thing about it, is that we'll never know.
Wasn't the rest of his thing only half the season, or is it the full season?
You don't get a half a snow cone. You get the whole snow cone. Oh, my mic.
And
you made it worse.
I made it worse.
What do I do?
You're good.
It counted the full season.
So it would have been the full season.
Last season.
So it would have been half the season this year.
Yes.
Okay, and I've said this since the beginning. This should have never been a thing. This should have never been a thing where he can just wait as an unsigned player for his suspension to expire. They needed to make it so if a team wanted him, they needed to stick their neck out and say, we're going to pay him for half of the year to sit on his ass because he's not going to play.
Right.
The suspension should not have picked up until he was on an active NHL roster.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, not funny, not like haha funny, like funny.
Like peculiar funny.
Yeah. So the president of Avangard, Maxim Shushinsky.
Is that a country?
No.
Avangard?
Avangard?
I don't know.
No, it's
Sounds
not a
like
country.
where Thor
It's
lives.
not a country. Isengard is from
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Wow, that was close.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Can you read the
Anyway.
thing?
It's way more fun than this, though.
We don't need to do 2004 memes, you know?
I saw it was on at the gym the other day. That's why it's in my head. Anyway.
Okay.
Experience, skill, reliability, scoring. That's how Vyacheslav Voinov, that's his full name, is known to all hockey fans. In our case, you can have Voinov's huge motivation to prove to anyone, and most of all to himself, that he can reach the very highest targets with a top club. How do you say this with a guy who hasn't played hockey in as long as Slava Voinov has not played hockey? How do you comment on something he hasn't done since like?
But the thing is like that whole idea is based in Fantasyland. We're not ripping him for his ability to play hockey. That's the last thing on any of our minds. The first thing on our minds is how much of a shit human being he is.
Right.
And how we shouldn't be subjected to this.
Right. I mean, but
no fan base should be subjected to having to cheer for that shitbag. Like, no one.
Right. Also, though, like, maybe 5% of my argument against signing Slava Voinov, personally, was this guy has not played hockey in so long, and if you're gonna risk the PR mess or the moral mess that is signing a guy who is as terrible of a person as Slava Voinov, why would you risk something to sign someone who you don't know is going to be as good as when you left them?
An NHL player, period.
Right.
We don't know that he's an NHL player anymore.
Right.
When he was here, it's not like he was a star. He was a second pairing defenseman.
Yeah.
You know, on most good teams.
Yeah.
He was on some of the best teams in the Kings.
Yeah. I mean, glad he's out of our fucking hair now, though.
There is literally no excuse for signing him.
No.
There is no general manager who can look his fans in the eyes and tell them that they had a good reason for signing him. None.
Well, Isengard looked all the hobbits in the eyes and said,
"That's Russia. All the hobbits.
This is our dude."
Yeah, yes and no. I don't care about the KHL.
Yeah.
Not my league, not my circus, not my monkeys. I don't care.
That's a good saying.
Shouldn't keep your
monkeys. Is that
monkeys.
a Russian saying?
Probably.
I think it's Polish, actually.
No.
Okay, Google.
It would have said, not my doll, not my doll, not my doll. It's just all the dolls coming out of the thing.
Okay,
nesting
Google.
dolls.
Matryoshka.
Where does the saying, not my circus, not my monkeys, come from?
We wait.
What happened to your Google Home?
It's in the other room.
It's Polish.
Is it Polish?
Yes.
Well, great.
Shout out to my Poles.
Shout out to all my pairs.
Shout out to all my pairs.
Do Did you see the GIF or the video of the New Jersey Devils mascot just
smashing through that
breaking
window?
glass?
It was amazing.
It was a good one.
Ruined
great.
that summer for those kids.
The freaking devil.
Let's talk about some good guy hockey players.
Good guy hockey players.
I have one, unless it's the one you're bringing up.
Connor McDavid.
Okay. What did he do? Wait, who? Oh, Connor McDavid.
I'm gonna read the Bar Down article.
Barnonsky.
Connor McDavid is known for his sublime playmaking skills on the ice, but it's the assists off the ice he's getting recognition for in the summertime months in the city of Edmonton. I'm gonna open this up to you guys. What did McDavid do?
Is it like can you give us some? It's like a charity thing. Am I warm when I'm towards charity?
I mean, the obvious answer, I think, is playing, like, ball hockey with fans or something,
No.
but I think it has to be something weird. I'm going to go, he's, like, delivering newspapers.
No,
Damn, was I close?
not even. Kristen, you got one guess. What is he doing that is giving
read
him
it back to me.
recognition in the summertime months in the city of Edmonton?
Connor McDavid has walked around the city of Edmonton shirtless.
No.
Fuck.
The Edmonton police charged a man who allegedly sold Connor McDavid jerseys with a fake Connor McDavid autograph on each one. Police
is he working with the police?
Police received tips from Edmontonians about a man posing to work for the Edmonton Oilers Entertainment Group who would purchase the jerseys and flip them for almost double the original price. Police reached out to both the Oilers and McDavid himself to confirm that the signatures were indeed fake.
He's a detective.
So
so cool.
So Connor McDavid's stopping crime now.
Stop
That's so
crime.
cool.
How Edmonton, get your shit together. Connor McDavid's the only one playing hockey for the Oilers, and he's also your police force.
Also,
He probably drives a fire truck.
probably
Probably works at the library.
probably
Does too much stuff for Edmonton.
Probably operates the
Edmonton,
fire hose
Edmonton.
by the fire
Sometimes
hose.
I just break into that voice. I was just doing it the other day. Everything sounds like
You were
this.
cracking yourself up.
Like
the other
Ray
day.
Romano.
Yeah.
It's Ray,
my God.
Ray Romano voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
just
cool,
thought it was neat that he
No,
was.
that is a really
Connor
funny story.
McDavid is stopping crime, and no one on the Oilers can stop a puck.
Well, my good guy hockey story is William Nylander.
This was great. I forgot about this. Thank you for bringing this back up.
No, see, this is what I do. I'm a co-host.
And I can't wait to get on the how baby boomers are ruining this moment.
Oh.
So, Trevor,
God.
take the floor.
Okay, I'm Trevor.
Trillium Nylander. Thrillium Nylander.
Here
So-
comes Trevor.
Oh, God. so William Nylander is changing his number from he was 29, and then he became 39, right?
The other way.
He was 39.
39
then
is
he
a
was,
rookie.
Then he became 29.
Yep.
And then now he's going to be 88, which is ludicrous because Eric Lindros played for the Leafs and he was 88, and who does he think he is? But the cool thing is I was being sarcastic, but the cool thing is he's paying. You can go to the store in Toronto and get your jersey number changed, and he's gonna pay for it.
That's
He's footing the bill on it.
So if you have a William Nylander 29 jersey, you can go and get it to be 88 instead. They just draw some lines on it and turn the 2 into an 8.
Did you see what else he's footing the bill for?
So Andrew Nielsen is a personality in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not certain what his disability is, but he is in a wheelchair.
I knew it, and
But
I forgot it.
He scaled a building in Toronto
Mm-hmm.
in his chair. Like, they lifted him up the building. It was kind of it was really impressive.
I-
He had a pair of William Nylander shoes that had the number 29 on the back. And William Nylander responded and said, "Send me a DM. I'll get you new 88 shoes."
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, and it was so funny because, like, last
Because he
year
footed the
couldn't
bill
have
for it, right?
last year couldn't have gone worse for Nylander. Like,
Yeah, he should have
in-
done this last year.
in the court of public opinion, like, he held out until December, and then he was making so much money, and he didn't produce right away because he didn't have a training camp, and then, you know, the season went the way it did. I don't know if he didn't take a lot of the blame for it, but didn't go great for him.
No,
Like, there's
it was in the back of everyone's mind, like, hey, dude.
Yeah. I wonder if he somehow feels like he needs to put on a redemption tour of sorts.
Which is good for Toronto, if you're a Toronto fan.
Yeah.
Or he's just a nice guy.
I think he's also just a great guy. Have you heard Steve Dangle's theory as to why people don't like William Nylander? Because he's cute, and you're not. That's really the basis of that argument.
I'm cute.
I think William Nylander is trying to become the white boy of the month a little bit, aesthetically.
I don't know what that means.
So
you say,
ooh,
see the thing when you bring up that someone's white, it's typically a bad thing.
No.
So that's why I was like,
no, it's fine.
What does that have to do with anything?
Do you know who Timothy Chalamet is? Okay.
No.
Do you know who? I'm trying to think of the recent white boys of the month.
Every month?
Oh, what the fuck is his first name?
John.
Centineo. Noah Centineo.
Nope.
Okay.
Is he on Stranger Things?
So they're like, no. He was on,
Are any of these guys on Rick and Morty?
No. God, help me.
Just, what's the crux of this?
Okay,
Like, we
the
don't
crux
need
of
to...
it is that
Juxtaposition.
it seems like,
Juxtaposition.
mainly girls or people who are attracted to men on Twitter, have a white boy of the month. And
So
it's
like,
usually a hipster.
Is it like a subscription box?
It's usually like a hipsterish guy who people suddenly recognize and like the aesthetic of the person and like stan them for like a month or so.
It's like Woman
Whatever.
Crush Wednesday.
Yes. Except it's like it's not planned.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens.
Yeah,
Kind of
except
falls
you have
into
to,
your
you
lap.
have to buy the whole month.
William Nylander
If you buy
is
several
out
months
here.
in a row, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
William Nylander is out here
Dollar Shave
with
Club.
his unbuttoned dad shirts
Yeah.
and round
Buying
rimmed
kids'
sunglasses,
jerseys.
lounging out on a pool chair, being a white boy of the month.
Yeah. I nominate
He's
Bobby Margarita.
nominating himself.
Dude, yeah, he's our white boy from
He's a white boy of the month.
Bobby Margarita?
I don't know.
Bob McKenzie.
Bob McKenzie. Okay, yeah, he's out here.
Straight up.
Like,
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe another part of the aesthetic is like a bucket hat. Usually it's like scrawny white boys, like thin
I wouldn't know.
You're wearing boat shoes without socks.
boat shoes without socks, or like and leaning more towards
Jeans,
hipster.
the bottoms
More-
are cuffed up.
That's more along.
They're
the
using
lines.
single-use plastics.
Yeah, fuck them.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're saying they're just dumping a whole bucket of straws into the ocean. Like,
Yeah.
take that, turtle,
They're
bitch.
stabbing fish with straws.
I don't understand.
Turtles caused 9/11.
I think
and
we
they're just
understand this
pouring something
concept perfectly.
They casually float out that they think the Earth might be flat.
But not like really, but
Yeah,
like,
they're like,
kinda.
well, I mean, we just can't be sure. Have you been to space? I haven't been.
White
I
boys of the
don't know.
month.
Seen space.
Trevor, you hinted at it, the whole Eric Lindros thing.
Yeah.
Eric Lindros wore 88 for the Leafs. He wore
And
88
no
for...
one else can ever wear 88.
He wore 88 also for the New York Rangers, the Philadelphia Flyers,
Damn
the
right.
Dallas Stars. I feel like that's it.
The Philadelphia Flyers.
So 4 teams that he wore that jersey with.
Okay.
Do you know
I
how many
believe you.
games he played with the Leafs?
I heard someone say it. It was like 11 or something.
It's 30-something. 33,
oh,
I
damn,
think.
I was close. Price is right.
William Nylander played more games for the Leafs last season.
What?
And he didn't play until December than Lindros did in his entire, quote, Leafs tenure.
Yeah, but but now the jersey now the seasons
Yeah,
are
yeah.
longer.
So,
So like
The
inflation.
Leafs... So, Lindros tweeted... He came out and said, wishing William Nylander...
He came out? Well, good for you, Lindros.
He tweeted, wishing William Nylander luck in his next season with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Great.
Sick.
Closure, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Until this happened.
What was this?
Some people on Twitter, and this was made known by Jeff Jeffler.
Dude, Jeff's great.
Jeff's a great follower.
We should have Jeff on the podcast. He loves hockey
I'm
jerseys
going to invite
too.
Jeff. He does. He sniped a few of the jersey finder away from me.
We have to have that guy on too.
Yeah. There's a certain breed of baby boomer Leaf fan, or maybe it's the generation after that as well, that just want to find any reason to shit on William Nylander. This one is especially heinous and just downright wrong. The number 88 has
No.
Nazi meanings.
It does. It like legit does.
8 being the 8th letter of the alphabet, H.
H
H
being...
meaning Hail Hitler.
I don't know. You could do that. I feel like
Dude,
you could do that with a lot of numbers.
The
though.
mental
But I don't
gymnastics
know.
it takes to do that exhausts me, and I'm sitting on the couch.
That's not a real thing.
No, it's real.
It's real,
It's-
but,
Oh,
but
okay.
like,
It's real.
but William Nylander's not a white supremacist. You out of your mind?
Yeah, he probably
Neither
doesn't
are
know
any
a
of
lot
the
about
other
that.
players. I mean, we can't say all of.
Yeah,
the
I don't
other
wanna
players
go
who
down that
have
rabbit hole.
ever
You don't need to do that.
worn 88.
You don't need to
are
do that.
White supremacists, but there are a lot of people who wear the number 88.
I mean, Patrick Kane, but that's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Looks like a fucking Death Eater, but it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
He looks like
I like Harry Potter.
Patrick Kane. Low-key looks like Carl, the bad guy from Billy Madison.
Loki looks like Draco
Really nice.
Malfoy if his face got fucked up.
Fuck Patrick Kane.
Draco
feel bad for
Malfoy with
Draco
a
Malfoy.
9 head.
Yeah.
His dad is really the problem.
Right.
But I didn't watch the last 2 movies, so don't spoil it.
I don't.
Still?
I know it's been forever.
What do you guys feel about guys changing their numbers?
It depends. If I have your jersey, please don't change your number.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Unless you're paying me for it.
I
But
don't know. I think that adds a little bit of novelty though, because like, say they were playing really well with that number, or like it was their rookie year, and you have that jersey with that number, and it's like it means something a little extra special to you.
I remember my first trip to the NHL store in New York was the season of Scott. It was Scott Gomez's first year in Montreal, and things were still going okay. So I was at the NHL store, and they didn't have a lot of players. They only had, and the only one I saw was a Scott Gomez jersey, and I was like, okay, I'll buy it. And
Or
he
you
wore
could
a
just get one customized, which is like
well, it's a full
ridiculously
jersey. I just
expensive.
got a shirt.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
was
yeah,
like,
We ain't
I was
balling
like,
like that.
yeah, I was like 13. I didn't have that kind of money.
Right.
Now all of my money exclusively goes into hockey jerseys. So I got I had the number 91 on the back.
Mhm.
The season after that, he changed his number to 11, which I was like, that's Koivu's number. Don't touch that.
And then it
bothered
became
me.
Gallagher's number.
And then it became Gallagher's number.
And then you were like, that's Koivu's
Gallagher
number.
also changed his number. He was 73 when he started.
Those are
then they
training camp numbers.
They traded for Michael Ryder. Ryder, who played for Montreal, wore 73, so he got 73 back, and Gallagher went to 11.
See, I can't think of Gallagher as anything except 11.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll give a player, like, you get 1 or 2 number changes. Like, you know,
I kind of wish Nylander does every year.
that would be
He pays
really
for it every
interesting.
year.
That'd be elite.
He pays for the customization every single year.
What do you think? Let's imagine William Nylander becomes one of the greatest Leafs of all time. What number gets retired?
The number that he broke the records in.
Yeah,
Well-
whatever number he wore. Oh, wait, you're saying if he changes his number every year?
Well, yeah, he just
And then-
did.
and
So
then- oh, okay.
William Nylander
He
is.
wasn't doing anything last year with his number.
Probably like the number when they won
Yeah.
the cup.
Maybe that's why he changed it.
Yeah, that's very presumptuous. Ooh, there's an ad for Gattaca on the TV. We should watch Gattaca.
Okay.
It's a great movie.
Shut it down.
You want to watch a movie?
No, I don't want to. Gattaca's fine. I only want to spend a Friday night watching Gattaca. It's fine.
You retire the number that he did the most stuff in.
Yeah, I'd say if you switch your number every year. I wonder who had the most number changes. We'll have to look that up and get back to you next podcast. But
With one team,
or just in general, I guess their whole
Hockey
career.
Reference is awesome for that, by the way.
We'll have to look it up.
You go to a guy's page on Hockey Reference, it has little squares that have the color of the jerseys that the team wore, and then the number in it for every jersey he's ever worn. There were guys that didn't even know change jersey numbers, and they have it on Hockey Reference. It's an
Yeah.
incredible website.
Yeah, I'll give a guy like I said, 1 or 2. You can change your number once or twice, but like really like pick a number, stick with it. That's
What?
like becomes iconic.
What number would you pick?
7.
69, it's
Why
hilarious.
7?
I don't know. I don't know. I
Just-
forget.
it
I
just
forget.
feels
I
right.
just started wearing that when we were playing NHL. Maybe because, not like I don't know. Maybe it was from NHL 17. I just changed it to 7. I don't remember. I just always wore 7 on NHL because I was like an offensive defenseman. So that's what I did. Like, dude, single digit defenseman. Like, I'm sick. You know I'm good.
Single digit.
And I don't just say this because Kristen just got me a Kovalev jersey and he wears 27. But I'm currently in the middle of a Be a Pro in NHL where I was drafted 9th overall to the New York Islanders.
Yes.
I'm a center wearing the number 27.
Only 9th nerd.
I know, and they're sleeping on me. I've got like 18 points in 9 games. I'm fucking lighting it up.
You've worn 27 for a while.
Yeah,
right?
different
You used to
games.
wear it for baseball.
No, when I played
Or was it
baseball, it was
17?
21.
21.
It was 21 because Gianta. One year I wore 6 because the night before, my dad and I stayed up late watching the Canadiens and the Flyers in overtime, and Tom Kostopoulos scored the overtime winner, and he wore 6. He's like one of the only players in the history of hockey to play like 500 games in both the NHL and the AHL. Like
You're an impressionable lad.
Yeah, I used to wear 10 because I liked Guy Lafleur. I wore 10 a lot in baseball. Guy, straight up Guy Lafleur.
I'd wear 22.
Deuces for Weiss.
I've always liked.
No, it's Weiss.
It's a little selfish.
Nope.
My
Weiss.
birthday's on the 22nd of October. I just really like double numbers in any capacity, but I prefer even numbers. So 22 is really just a
What else we got, guys?
good number.
You kind of went through my list.
Yeah?
I ran out.
Ian, we received a question last week.
We did, and I have
We
to
received
scroll
it-
and find it.
We received it too late. We had already recorded.
Let me see if I can find it. It was a long time ago.
Well, why don't you just go under the notifications for the podcast?
That's what I'm doing.
Oh.
It's probably easier if I go through mentions. I don't get as much of those. But this is great podcasting, you guys. Here it is. From forgive me if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly. Trej Wilson at Trej TREGE 33 on Twitter. Is that Canadiens related question? Is Bergevin done this offseason? And if not, what's the next move? The next move is that guy.
I hope he's not done.
And I pointed at my Line A jersey if you were curious. I hazard to say that Bergevin is ever done. I kind of wonder if the guy ever even sleeps.
The man knows no limits.
Every year, like, they ask, or it seems like around trades and whatever, Elliot Friedman will always say, Mark Bergevin's talking to everybody, always.
Yeah.
I think that's I think one of the qualities that we've seen in him over the last few years is that he kind of gets fidgety. He likes he loves tinkering with his team. A lot of times that's of the fourth line variety, and he takes a lot of crap for that. But if he's got to move something around to make him feel comfortable, I'm glad it's fourth line guys as opposed to just flipping around first liners over and over again.
He's like the girl in Finding Nemo who
Darla
gets the fish and shakes him up. Yeah. No, I mean like in the bag. And shakes him up, and then there's a picture of her with the bag, and there's dead fish in it.
Darla.
Darla.
Yeah. I don't think he's done. The Pacioretty trade last year happened in September. Is it September? Late August.
I think so.
Do you remember?
I don't think he's done. I think he wants to add another defenseman. I don't know how. If you read my piece on Markov, I go into kind of what the defense looks like for this team moving forward. I'm still not certain that Cole Caulfield's going to college next year. He's very not, as far as, he's committed to Wisconsin, but it seems like he's as not committed as he possibly can be.
Right. He's like,
Like, they asked him at the draft when he was picked, like, oh, what are you majoring in? He goes, I don't know.
I don't know if a lot of 18-year-olds know what they're majoring in, though.
Come up with a different answer. Just say something. Doesn't have to be true.
Economics.
Yeah. What's that feel like, Trevor? Huh? Finance?
Finance and economics are different, Ian.
I don't know.
The NHL came out with a video of like a couple, Kako, Hughes, Cousins, and Cole Caulfield. It was like kind of them before the draft and kind of like following them.
That.
It was really good. I recommend it. Look it up.
But I don't know. I don't think Bergevin's ever done. I don't know if he really knows the meaning of that word. He likes to do stuff. He likes to talk to guys.
He likes to do stuff, huh?
He loves it. It's his favorite thing, his stuff.
Doing stuff.
I think he's... I don't think he made the Sebastian Aho offer sheet in bad faith, like some people seem to think. Some people seem to think that, it was just I tried, and it wasn't a full effort. I do think it was a decent effort at getting a guy. It was a unique situation that he tried to take advantage of, and it didn't work out. We move on. But I don't know how he looks at that defense and goes, this is fine.
This is fine.
There was the one year where he lost Markov and added Alsner, and he said, I think my defense is better than it was last year. And he could not have been wronger.
Well, to give it to Carl Alsner, he has 2 functioning knees.
I would take one of Markov's knees over both of Alsner's.
I would take
Alsner could have 4 more knees. I would still take Markov.
one of Markov's knees over the entire body of Carl Alsner.
I just remember breaking down so many instances of Alsner just being horrific.
Yeah.
That one year where the wheels just completely fell off for that team. I remember one goal against St. Louis where it wasn't even a 2-on-1, it was a 1-on-1. And a guy came in for the Blues, and Alsner didn't play the gap. He didn't go after the puck. He didn't try to block the shot. He just screened Carey Price.
Yeah.
That's all he did. And people were blaming Price for not stopping the shot. He had his own fucking guy against him.
Yeah.
Carl Alsner's like, don't worry, I'll help you.
64.
He might as well have turned around and slapped it into the net on his own. Anyway, I hate ranting about Carl Alsner. I want him gone so bad.
I have one more, not to change the subject, but can I change the subject?
Yeah, I'm done. Bergevin's not done. Sign Patrick Laine. Sign Patrick Laine.
So Mark Spector tweeted the conditions
On the 3rd round pick in that
Yes.
Lucic trade. Okay, cool.
Have you seen them?
No,
Okay.
I was curious. I was trying to look for him, but I couldn't find him.
So the 2 conditions that have to be met for the Oilers to send the 3rd round pick to Calgary. James Neal has to record at least 21 goals, and Lucic has to score at least 10 fewer goals than Neal.
That's the dumbest shit I've heard in my fucking life.
The top reply is just like 25 goals. No, 15. 24, 17. 22? How about even 20? 21 or I'm walking.
Well, hold on. There has to be a reason for that number.
I don't know how much he scored like the previous year.
I wonder if it's like his career average.
But just like, it was just hilarious. 21 goals and Lucic scores at least 10 fewer than Neal.
That makes no sense to me.
I don't know.
So, wait. Okay. James Neal has to score 21 goals.
Correct? And Lucic
Let's say he scores 22.
Sure.
Lucic has to score 12 or fewer goals.
Yes.
If he scores
10 fewer.
If he scores 13 goals
and Neal scores 22, the pick will not be sent.
that's just what the fuck, you guys? Just send the 3rd.
That's so confusing.
Let's see. Here are the goals in Neal's career the last 2018-19, 7, which is the year with Calgary. His year with Vegas, the year before, 25. The year before with Nashville, 23. The year before that, 31. The year before that, 23. The year before that, 27. The year before that, we're in 2012-13, the lockout shortened season, and he still had 21 goals.
That's sick. Imagine, though, if Neal's, like, really struggling, and then it's like you have, like, a quarter of the season left, and he's only at, like, 10 goals. You just throw him with McDavid, and just be like, McDavid, just get him to 21.
I had a gut feeling that James Neal was going to bounce back.
Sure.
There's statistical evidence to believe that. So last season, he scored 25 goals. He shot 12.4%. The season before that, 23 goals, 11.4%. This year, 7 goals, he shot 5%. They cut his shooting percentage was half of what it usually is.
That's crazy.
Even if he has a moderately better season, like better shooting luck, he's scoring 15 goals. Like,
Yeah, but he needs 21, Ian.
Okay.
He needs 21.
I know he needs 21. I just don't see how he doesn't bounce back. I think he's going to get 21 in his sleep playing with McDavid or Draisaitl. And then if he's not, he's with Nugent Hopkins, who had a career year last year. Like, I understand Neal probably hates the idea that he's leaving to go. He's leaving Calgary, who was the top team of the division last year, to go to Edmonton, who was very not that. But this has to be a great situation for him. He gets to go and play now. In Calgary, he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
You know, those are garbage.
That's crazy.
I'm so
conditions.
furious at what you just read me.
I thought it was pretty funny. I've never
I-
seen something like that.
Can I read you something that might make you happier?
You could try.
Go for it.
This is just a wholesome story that
Okay.
I came across when I opened Instagram just a minute ago. My cousin and her husband are she's a English teacher. He is a English professor. So they both have the summer off right now.
Must be nice.
So they're in Japan. They've been in Japan for a little while. They were in Tokyo. Today they're in Hiroshima. And she and her husband were wandering around the Hiroshima Carp Stadium, the baseball team.
Okay, yeah.
And there was a man who found them, and he gave them, without, speaking to them, he gave them free tickets to a completely sold out game. And so they all sat together. He bought them hot dogs. She and her husband bought jerseys, and they watched the game, and there was like a balloon release at the 7th inning stretch.
It's beautiful.
It was just...
It's the most Disney
just
shit of
so
all time.
nice. And be kind to people. Do nice things for people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
It's just fun.
Should we end on that happy note?
Maybe. I don't
warm my
want
little
it to
heart.
end. I want to be on. I'm gonna die on this podcast.
Okay. Well, you have fun.
Are we
There's
gonna be
70
here next weekend? Probably, right?
76 days until the Rangers home opener.
It's so long away. It's so far away.
You think this podcast?
Yeah, a bunch of podcasts. You fucking. I'm a fucking podcast. I'm a fucking podcast.
Oh my god.
I think one of my favorite pastimes is Trevor rarely slipping up on his words and me just fucking dunking on him for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
One time he tried to say Stu Leonards, which is a regional. See, I fuck up way more than Trevor does.
How many stores did they have? Any idea? I was thinking,
there's like one. There's one just outside of New York City.
Kristen.
Anyway, Trevor once said Stu Leonards, and every
it's
time
like the
we
world's
pass,
largest dairy store.
every time we pass Stu Leonards, it's Stu Leonards from now on.
There's a lot of quotes that I feel like you guys quote me a lot of times, and I don't even know you're quoting me.
Trevor, why do you eat ketchup packets?
Okay, that's not a real thing.
Why are you dodging the question?
I don't really like ketchup. Growing up, I used to love ketchup, and I would never mess around with like honey mustard or barbecue. Things have completely flopped
Things of
after
that
getting
nature.
older.
That's good.
It's all about honey mustard's dope. Barbecue sauce, I used to never be about. I used to be like too spicy, not really, but
You're fucking so white.
and now I love me some.
It's a good thing
barbecue
that the
sauce.
video podcast started coming out before you announced how white you were.
Just
Yeah.
They
now
got
people
to
know.
see it firsthand.
Now people know.
Is mayo too spicy too, bud?
Yeah, but wait till I go on vacation next
Salt?
month, and then
Nah,
I'll be
it's too much.
super tan
Yeah.
and red.
What are you doing over there?
She's trying to find out how many Stu Leonards.
You don't need to do that. All right, let's wrap this up. Just a reminder, this is a RabidHabs podcast, part of the RabidHabs podcasting network. Like I mentioned, I wrote an article about Andrei Markov. It was kind of hard to write. I loved Andrei Markov. I've written many an article about him in the past and how great his influence on the team is. Easily the greatest Canadiens defenseman over the last 20 years. He started playing in 2001. Like, that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And how ultimately I
was
come to the
6.
decision that maybe it's best that he doesn't come back. And that's tough to say. It's tough feels.
Tough to tell your...
He didn't get the Plekanec ovation, the curtain call that he probably deserved.
Yeah, that hurts
And-
my heart.
And I think maybe that's just okay. So you can catch it on RabidHabs. I'll share a link to it as well. I've been plugging it on my Twitter feed.
Me. Oh my god.
So at RabidHabs for that, at Nosebleeds Cast for the podcast, you can send questions in.
We
I'm
need
usually-
questions.
I'm usually good at asking, but the last few I've totally fucking spaced on. So my apologies. Probably next week.
Space
You can
Cadet.
follow me at Boisvert Ian, BOISVERT Ian. I think that's it for me.
That's it for you?
Oh, you fucking
Is
don't.
that it?
Don't. I'm putting out
Is that it?
content.
Is that it?
Oh my god.
Don't.
Okay, follow me on Twitter at goldspersonal.
Rude.
I tweet about different stuff.
I can't even believe you did that.
You can
to me.
follow me on Twitter at letterbombs, letter_bombs. And that's
You can
about
follow
all I'm
Kristen
gonna
at
say about
unsupportive
myself.
dick at twitter.com/fuck you.
You can't do backslash.
Yes, you can.
You can't do a backslash.
No, she told me.
What?
She did it.
I said nothing of
Nope.
the sort. Roll back the tapes.
Not doing that. I've already told you how little editing is going to go into this. There's going to be a 5-minute segment if you're watching this on YouTube where there's just nothing.
It's just audio.
I never said there was gonna be nothing.
What are you gonna put in there?
I don't know. It might be a surprise.
Well,
Ooh.
don't get us copyright striked.
No.
All right.
Okay.
An hour
Thanks
on
for
the nose.
listening. If you somehow made it through this podcast, I don't know how.
How do you guys do it?
We'll get.
Is this torture for you guys?
Oh my god. We'll
Watch
get
out.
better, hopefully.
We won't. We're 42 episodes in and it's not getting better anymore. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.